All right, so this is the first card that we are going to put together here. So the very first thing that we need to do is die cut all of our flowers and stamp and emboss our sentiment. So we're going to start by stamping and embossing our sentiment. Got my piece of paper ready here, as well as my stamp. So I'm using a Versamark ink, which is just a sticky ink, and the powder is going to stick nicely to that. I have cardstock that has texture on one side and a smooth side on the other. Doing this on the smooth side, you're going to have a much cleaner stamp when you're doing it on the smooth side of the cardstock rather than the textured side. So let's pour the powder on, lightly tap the excess off, and then any of this excess powder goes right back into the container so we're not wasting it. Don't need this paper anymore, but let's take out my heat gun and melt this. There we go. Now my heat gun was cool. I hadn't used it for a few days, so it did take a few extra seconds for that to heat up, but still it happens quite quickly. So we can set that to the side. We've got 4 pieces of cardstock here. They are 2 3/4 by 2 1/2. They are ready for us when we are going to assemble. And next we need to die cut our flowers. So this is the 2 dies that we're using. I just like these 2 together because they're the same flower, just from different perspectives. All right, so I have some Distress heavy stock here. You do want to have a heavier, thicker paper because you want the flowers to be able to hold themselves upright. If by chance you don't have something that's heavy, this is 130 pound, you can put some acetate strips behind it. So I've got acetate strips here holding up the butterflies. That'll give it some extra support, but much nicer if you don't even have to do that, and you can simply have it support itself. So this is half a sheet of 8 1/2 by 11, and I'm just going to get as many flowers out of here as I possibly can. For this sample, I got 3 of the full flowers, and then I got 4 of the half ones that are tilted. So I have my die face up, have the cardstock over top. I'm running it back and forth so that it goes both ways. And there we go, 1 flower down. And then we're just going to continue that till we have the entire piece of cardstock cut. So I will let you watch, but I will speed it up a bit. All right, our pieces are all die cut and ready to go, so we're going to ink the flowers. Now I'm just using blending brushes, and for the yellow in the center of the flowers, this is not the most precise way to do it. Probably a finger dauber would be a little bit more precise, but I'm just looking for the yellow in the center of the flower, so I'm not too worried about it. While I was laying the pieces out, you probably noticed I was picking out the little bits from here, and I also have some flowers facing one way, some flowers facing the other way, just to give a little bit more variety. So for the leaves, I'm going to start with a lighter green, put my blending brush in, and I'm going from the bottom up so that I end up with a bit of a shadow at the bottom of my leaves. And I'm not being super precise here, I'm just wanting the color in there. I don't need to worry about the bottom, that's going to be either hidden or cut off on my card. And then I'm going to do the bottom of the flower there, just because there would be that bit of green holding below the flower that we would see. And then once the light color green is done, and you could just do it with one shade of green, it doesn't necessarily have to be two. I just like deepening the greens there. Oops. Let's just add a tiny bit of the dark right below there, because there would be a bit of a shadow. And you can see I'm very quick with it. I'm not putting too much thought in it. So there we go. We've got our pieces ready to go, ready for us to put our card together. I'm going to wait a few minutes for them to dry and clean off my desk so that I'm not putting a card together with some green ink on my desk. I'll see you in the next video and we'll assemble it.